Merci, M. Scarpalegio. Et finalement, Daniel Quinn, qui représente le nouveau Parti démocratique dans cette élection, la Saint-Louis. Daniel est né et a grandi dans l'ouest de l'île. Il a commencé son engagement dans la politique dans l'école secondaire, puis a continué son action au niveau municipal, provincial et fédéral. Il est devenu membre de l'NPD en 2003 et il a été candidat pour l'NPD aux élections de 2004 et ensuite en 2006. Daniel détient un bac en histoire de Concordia et travaille actuellement à compléter une maîtrise en histoire aussi. Il a travaillé pour la commission scolaire Lester B. Pearson à titre de professeur au niveau secondaire et il a été un des directeurs du camp Caritas et très engagé avec l'église Holy Family où il fait du bénévolat auprès des adolescents. Daniel Quinn was born and raised in the West Island. His involvement in politics started in high school and he continued on at the municipal, provincial, and federal levels. He's been a member of the NDP since 2003 and he was candidate for the NDP in Lac St. Louis in 2004 and 2006 at the federal level. Mr. Quinn holds a BA in history and is currently doing his master's in history at Concordia University. Mr. Quinn works for the Lester B. Pearson School Board as a high school teacher and the English Montreal School Board as a homebound teacher. He's worked as a director at Camp Caritas and is an active member of his church, Holy Family. Daniel Quinn.
Merci, Monsieur Trudeau. Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. Je me présente ici ce soir pour trois raisons. Premièrement, et c'est évident, c'est parce que je veux être votre député. Je veux être votre représentant et votre voix dans les chambres des communes à Ottawa. Deuxièmement, parce que je crois vraiment dans le potentiel de notre pays et je crois vraiment dans le potentiel des citoyens et citoyennes de notre pays. Et troisièmement, parce que je sais qu'on mérite mieux que le gouvernement de M. Harper. You know, Canada is a wonderful country. There are few places on earth where something like this would be able to take place. There are 5 individuals of different ages and different backgrounds representing different political parties presenting themselves here to you tonight, asking for your support in an upcoming federal election. And we could all be here together in a spirit of mutual respect and cooperation. And I think that that is a wonderful thing, and it is something that we should all celebrate, and we should recognize that it's one of the privileges of being Canadian citizens. Canada is also one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We're part of the G8. For years, we were #1 on the United Nations Quality of Life Index. But there are some problems in Canada today. Some problems that have resulted largely from the policies that have been implemented by consecutive conservative and liberal governments over the course of the past 25 years. Prior to that time, we as a country worked together to establish a social safety net, to establish social programs, universal health coverage, old age pensions. We built schools and hospitals across the country. We began to see each other not as individuals, but rather as citizens who could construct a country together if we were just able to transcend our individual differences and come together in the collective interest. But unfortunately, over 25 years, we saw cuts to funding for every single social program across the board in every single government department under the sun. And those cuts were a result of the policies, again, of both conservative and liberal governments. As far as we're concerned, those two parties are essentially one and the same. And they've demonstrated, even more recently, that they're more interested in huge corporate tax cuts than they are in investing in the priorities of ordinary Canadians, like healthcare, education, public transportation, and environmental initiatives. You know, today in Canada, 1 in 8 children lives in poverty. We have seniors across the land who are barely scraping by on their meager pensions. We have 5 million people in Canada who don't even have a family doctor, myself included. We have students graduating with an average debt of $20,000. That is not a way to start your life or your career. We have middle-class families finding it increasingly difficult just to make ends meet. You know, we've seen the price of gas go up, the price of people's mortgages, the price of rent, the price of almost everything under the sun, and yet again, over 25 years, most people's wages have actually been stagnant or have actually gone down. And people are accumulating more and more debt. People are using their credit cards to pay the grocery bill. People are using their credit cards to put gas in their tank. This situation is unacceptable. But the solution from our current government and the solution from past Liberal governments was to cut taxes for banks and oil companies. And in the last Parliament, we saw the Conservatives do that with the support of the Liberals. They ended up cutting taxes for banks and oil companies by $50 billion. Now, they're going to tell you, probably soon after I finish speaking, that the NDP is only interested in taxing and spending. We would not raise taxes on anybody in Canada making less than $400,000 a year. What we would do is reverse the corporate tax giveaways. We don't think that in a situation where there are still children living in poverty and seniors struggling to get by on a daily basis, that we should give $50 billion to companies that are already making multi-million and in some cases multi-billion-dollar annual profits. We need a government that is going to put you and your family first. We need a government with the right priorities. My Conservative counterpart, Andrea Payne, said that in this election, Canadians are faced with a choice between re-electing Stephen Harper or returning to a Liberal government. That is a false choice. There are 5 candidates sitting at this table. We have a multi-party system in this country. And I can assure you that from knocking on doors, most Canadians are fed up with the old parties and the old ideas and the old debates. It's about time that we elect a government with the right priorities, and the first step that we can take in order to ensure that that happens is to elect me as your next Member of Parliament. Thank you very much.